Hey folks, it is I, Jason Hyatt, with the TSR TV show on the CTW TV network. It is the 2nd of May, 2022. See? And right now it is 1801 or 6:01 p.m. We have some things to discuss this wonderful show. Some things that I've figured out, some things that are, ongoing. Some things that may not be so much fun to talk about, but since it concerns all of us and is an egregious overreach of executive powers, I'm going to go ahead and bring it up. So we will get there. So sorry I haven't been available the last couple of weeks. It's been a bit touchy and hit or miss with the puppies coming on. Um, Eyeballs opened over the weekend, so they can now see my ugly mug, which has made things rather interesting. But and I also had one of my chickens get murdered last night, so I will be sitting up with my thermal in 22 tonight to see which wonderful critter on the planet decided to start murdering my chickens. Hopefully, it won't take too long because I'm pretty sure I know which critter out there in the world it is that murdered my chicken. And I blocked the hole that can get in, so now I can just try to shoot the possum and call it a good day because I'm pretty sure with the evidence left behind, it was a possum. But I know the executive order I was talking about dropped April 11th, and I really I looked at it, I read it, and I went, I really don't want to bring this bad juju into my life because hopefully somebody out there with a brain realizes that it is not something that an executive order can fix. And it really puts a damper on what is actually legal in this planet or in this on this planet. Well, legal in this country as far as manufacturing firearms for your own use. I've already said I don't think people should be going out buying a 80% kit, manufacturing and selling at a yard sale. I don't think they should be doing that. I would consider that wrong, a wrong practice, and I wouldn't do it, and I wouldn't buy anything that is done that way because it's inherently unsafe. You got a bunch of Joe Blow snuffies that really don't know what they're doing, pretending they know what they're doing to make these guns and then sell them, which, if you're manufacturing a firearm and selling it, it's illegal already. So I don't understand their haste to do what they're doing other than they just want to be ridiculous. I got to change something here. I'm being washed out. Let's see. That did not make it better. Let's see if this makes it better. I'm darker, not better. That makes me blue. Maybe if I do that on that side. Hey! There we go. Obviously something weird had happened there. I can't my wonderful lights had decided to change color on me. But anyway, we are talking about, and this is straight from whitehouse.gov, and just the way it's written, it is incredibly ill-informed, and it slaps most Americans right in the face. But on April 11th, 2022, the Biden administration cracks down on ghost guns, ensures that ATF has the leadership it needs to enforce our gun laws. We all know how I feel about the ATF, and Now, them taking a whole nother media coined phrase and turning it and putting it in law documents like executive orders is mind blowing to me. A ghost gun is not, it's an 80% kit. It is designed for you and I to be able to go, hey, I want to build my own, but I don't have like all the major milling equipment. So I can buy this piece here that isn't milled out to be a firearm yet. Has a basic shape, but not completely milled out. And I can build my own gun for my own personal use. That was the intent behind Ghost Guns. And of course, the company Ghost Gunner didn't help out with the names that we had. But you can name yourself whatever you want. It's a wonderful thing about capitalism. It's a wonderful thing about America. If I want to name my company Joe Blow Snuffy Firearms, I can name my shop Joe Blow Snuffy Firearms. Or just Joe Blow Snuffy LLC. I can have that. Or I can have this, The Shooter's Rest, because I wanted the name. So I made it. But now, in this executive order to do this, today President Biden and Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco will deliver remarks in the Rose Garden to announce additional steps in the administration is taking to combat gun crime. Ensuring the ATF has the leadership it needs to enforce our common sense gun laws and fight gun crime. There is no common sense gun laws. The only common sense gun law that needs to exist is don't kill somebody that shouldn't be dead. It's pretty simple. Don't do stupid things with your guns. That's it. But it's way too simple for some people. All right. Where is it? All right. Today, the President and Deputy Attorney General will also announce the U.S. Department of Justice issued a final rule to rein in the proliferation of ghost guns, unserialized, privately made firearms that law enforcement are increasingly recovering at crime scenes in cities across the country. Last year alone, there were approximately 20,000 suspected ghost guns reported to ATF as being recovered by law enforcement in criminal investigations, a tenfold increase from 2016. Because ghost guns lack the serial numbers marked on other firearms, law enforcement has an exceedingly difficult time tracing a ghost gun found at a crime scene back to an individual purchaser. We don't have a registration in the United States. They shouldn't be doing this anyway. They should know who manufactured it and what gun shop it went to. But there's a reason why the ATF is not legally able to hold 4473s. They can look at them, but they cannot have the copy because we don't have a national registration. So building your own gun doesn't circumvent any law on the books as far as being able to trace a firearm. Because it doesn't exist. It is legal for an American citizen to make a firearm for their own use. If you're legally able to own a firearm, you can legally make your own gun for your own use. It does not have to have a serial number. And for them to do executive orders, it does. So they're just doing whatever they want to do. Once again. So additional executive action to reduce gun violence today. Final rule includes 2 additional actions to make our community safer. First, the final rule ensures that firearms with split receivers are subject to regulations requiring serial numbers and background checks when purchased from a licensed dealer, manufacturer, or importer. Decades ago, ATF issued regulation defining the frame or receiver of firearm as the part that is regulated by the Gun Control Act, meaning that it is the part that triggers the serialization, or that triggers federal serialization, background check, and other requirements. At this time, many firearms in the United States are single frame firearms like revolvers. Yeah, it's basically right now they're trying to say your upper receiver is also a firearm to go with your lower receiver, and that if you want to buy an upper receiver, then you have to have a serial number and do a background check for it, which is absolute complete garbage. All right, but I'll be right back. Sorry, guys, forgot to shut my door and dogs are going nuts. But anyway, so back to these upper lower receivers. So with reading this, and like I said, this is on whitehouse.gov, briefing room statements. I would read it for yourself because it's it's delving into stuff. But anyway, the second rule, final rule, or the final rule, requires federally licensed firearms dealers retain key records until they shut down their business or license activity. At the time, these dealers must transfer their records to the ATF, just as they are currently required to do at the end of licensed activity. Previously, these dealers were permitted to destroy most records after 20 years, making it harder for law enforcement to trace firearms found at crime scenes. Now, this is where I'm saying this is an egregious overstep of anything they can do, because it is illegal for the ATF to retain 4473s. We do not have a legal firearms registry. So, under de facto, right here, Biden administration is signing an executive order requiring them to give them all their 4473s for them to retain, therefore knowing every gun you have ever bought through a gun shop on a 4473. Because right now, all they know is you had a background check that was approved. They don't know whether or not which gun you bought, unless they go and look at that piece of paper, meaning you've done something dumb with it or it got stolen and they need to figure out where you got the gun from. So that's it. Because the way a trace on a gun works goes like this. They find gun A at crime scene. They have serial number. They go to the manufacturer. The manufacturer says, all right, that gun was made on this day at this time. It went to this distributor. Then the ATF calls that distributor. Distributor goes, all right, found that serial number. We sent that gun to this gun shop. Then the ATF calls that gun shop and says, hey, we know this gun was sent to your shop. Do you still have it on your records? Yes. Or no, it got sold. Okay. Well, we request to look at that 4473. We would like to see who bought that gun. Now, that federally licensed firearm dealer, to try to stay in compliance with the law, will photocopy said 4473 and send it to the ATF. Some of them black out any other information on it other than your name and the one serial number and gun that you purchased, if you purchased multiple at one time. That is how they're doing their tracing. What they will do if they get their hands on all of these 4473s is upload them into a database. They will spend millions of dollars making peons scan these documents into a computer that runs an algorithm that says, this is Jason Hyatt, right here. These are all the 4473s ever ran for Jason Hyatt over here. So we're going to take and we're going to manipulate this to show every gun purchase under his name in one file. We now have a federal database of every gun that you own or that you bought at a gun show or a gun shop or a gun show. Every time you did a background check to buy a gun, which we are protected from. Most people understand if there is a list of what you own, there is a very good chance they will try to take it away from you. If you have to register something, there is a chance that they can try to take it away. They'll know exactly what you own. So when they come and kick in your door and try to take them, they will go, well, here's what you own. This is what we're going to grab. It is a dangerous precedent being set by this administration. It should not be legal. I don't believe it could even remotely be legal. And this is a rule they are going to say, ATF enforce this, which ATF can only enforce laws on the books. But if you're going to make a law, you can't do it through executive order. And executive orders are not meant to restrict your rights. So I'm sorry, I'm getting worked up because this is a topic of discussion that is just, it's going to mess up my livelihood. It's going to mess up my country for my children and my grandchildren. It's going to mess up my country, your country for your kids and grandkids. For generations to come, they will look at it and go, yeah, that's where they screwed up. That's where they let this happen. What can we do about it? Write your congressmen, write your representatives, write the White House, write everybody and tell them this is complete bullcrap. Y'all thought I was going to say it, but I didn't. Complete and utter nonsense. The executive branch does not have the right or responsibility to make laws. They sign them into law, but they don't make a single one. And now we have this garbage. So, I mean, the very last statement of this from the White House itself shows just how out of touch with reality that whole cesspool of stupidity is. Congress needs to do its job by passing this budget and other essential legislation to reduce gun crime, including legislation to require background checks for all gun sales. We already have that. Ensure that no terrorist can buy a weapon in the United States. We already have that. And then ban the sale and possession of unserialized firearms. Hey, before 1964, no guns had to have serial numbers, so they can kiss my rear end. Ghost guns, ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, and repeal gun manufacturer protection for liability. If I build a gun and it blows up, I can get sued, so I don't have any protection from liability. I'm not liable for what a dumbass does with a gun after he buys it. Nobody is, except for the retard, or excuse me, the person that bought it. I should not be using that language. I'm a little worked up. Little bit. I try not to get worked up. I try not to do political things on this show. But how can you not get a little worked up when reading this? And I'm going to go ahead and post that in the comments, the link to it, so everybody can see exactly what I was talking about, can go and read it for themselves and understand that I'm not just getting worked up over nothing. This is on whitehouse.gov. This is their statements, their beliefs, and their thoughts, and the sheer stupidity that's coming out of our elected I guess it was too long for some of this. For like not Twitter, all you YouTube people, you got to put laws, make sure the WS at the end, / at the end of that, because it just came up weird in the comments. I'm sorry. I'm trying to just give you the link. So, while we're sitting around twiddling our thumbs, the White House, knowing they can't get Congress to do anything they want them to do, are overstepping the bounds once again, enforcing an executive order on the people of the United States. An executive order is only for people that are controlled by the government. I'm not controlled by the government. An executive order has no bearing on me. But what it has a bearing on is those agencies that are employed by the government. So therefore, it's not legal. The executive branch can't make a law. They can want one all they want, but they can't make it. Like I said, a little worked up. I'm actually sweating a little. I'm a little irritated. But this is why I hadn't brought it up before. It's a long-winded discussion. I really need you guys to just go ahead and post in the comments. Tell me how you think about what you think about this executive overreach. Is this? Oh my goodness! It's just stupid. It's just as bad as the ATF saying force reset triggers are machine guns. They're not. But conversations. But I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all about my day. Now that we got this out the way, I'm going to go ahead and tell you about my day. My day started a little early today with a good friend of mine coming by, picking me up with the sole purpose of picking up his new safe. And let me tell you, it sounds simple. We're going to go to the store and put it in the trailer. Things we need. A dolly that can pick up, 1,000 pounds. a couple extra hands just to get it to tip over onto the dolly. And it was actually rather simple. I'm not going to say it was hard to do at 0 dark 30. um, no, he showed up here about 8:30 this morning, so slightly after the sunrise, and after I figured out my chick had been murdered. Um, jump in the truck and we head off to Sunbelt Rentals. Pick up this 1,200-pound appliance dolly. Well, first we went to U-Haul. They didn't have what we needed, so then we went to Sunbelt. And this thing, it has kickstand legs, all sorts of cool stuff. And yeah, this will work. It worked. It worked as intended. However, gun safes are heavy. Very, very heavy. Especially this gun safe. And two somewhat able-bodied individuals with a fair amount of strength is still not enough to get this thing safely down the trailer, off the ramp, into the elevator, upstairs to the storage where he's putting it, where he's storing this safe. Luckily, there was an elevator. Luckily, we both have the mindset of this is going to work. Whether or not we get crushed or not is going to work. And it worked. I'll tell you, I am sore. My back is sore. My shoulders are sore. My wrists are sore. My hands are sore. Gun safes are heavy. And I knew they were heavy, but you forget these things when you don't do like move them a lot or try to buy one and move it. You forget these things. That how heavy a gun safe is. And moving half a ton on a dolly with manpower, not electronics and gas power and diesel, is not as easy. Not as easy as it once was. I don't know if it's just because I'm getting old that this has affected me in the way it has, but I tell you, it was heavy. Heavy, heavy. But I'll survive. And it didn't kill me. But that was my day. So, but I'm going to actually tell y'all about my weekend too, because for those of you that don't know, I also manufacture knives. And I'm not saying I go out there and I cut out a shape in a piece of metal and then I attach I sand it down on a grinder and then I put it in some heat and dip it in some oil to make it hard and then I sharpen it and put a handle on it. I don't do that. I can do that. I wouldn't be proud of my work if I did it that way. And I do have electric grinders. Well, I did. They're kind of broke right now. But I do it more the old fashioned way, which is why it takes thousands of hours sometimes to create a knife. But I'm very proud of it when I do it. But I had a good friend come over and he wanted to learn how to forge a knife. And I like this guy enough that I took one of my grandfather's wrenches that I have, that I want to turn the whole set into different knives, and had him make a knife out of that. And over Saturday and Sunday, he has shaped out this blade that is absolutely gorgeous. It really is. And now, mind you, he has never forged a knife before, but he hammered in a perfect bevel. Measured on each side, it is even. Now, I haven't hardened it yet because he's not there yet. So the first day, he shaped that knife, all hammer work. We put a twist in the tang because of the way we're going to end up making the, finishing this knife. So 3 twists in the tang. It looks absolutely stunning the way it sits. But then he spent 3.5 hours yesterday with hand files, doing finish shaping with hand files, taking out the roughness, getting rid of the hammer marks. And as I explained to him, on a small knife, on a knife of this size that doesn't have a whole lot of spare steel on it, it is better to use hand tools than power tools. Because if you make a mistake with a belt grinder running 3,600 RPMs, you might have just made it so you're going to have to reforge the entire knife. And then I sent him home with a mini vise, an aluminum sanding block, and a bunch of sandpaper. Because he got to the point he needed to with the files, and now he is working with that sandpaper. But I'm not saying this because, this is my business. I'm saying this because the amount of energy, the more energy he put into this knife, the bigger the smile on his face was. Learning a new skill, being able to physically exert yourself, create something out of something else that can be used for your own enjoyment, survival, defense, culinary skills is remarkable. Seeing somebody you didn't know had, a lot of artistic ability, because I've known him for years, but we don't talk art, type thing. But he definitely has the touch. And as he learns, that touch is just going to get better. But that is, now I'm going to pimp my little business here. I do offer classes on learning how to forge a knife. I do offer that. That you can come here. I'll fire up the forge. We'll put some metal in it, and I'll walk you through how to forge out a blade. I'll walk you through how to shape a blade. I'll walk you through how to put a handle on that blade. I'm not the world's greatest blacksmith. I'm not the world's greatest bladesmith. There's a lot of things I don't know, but I do know how to hammer on steel. I know how to make that steel into a shape that can be used very well. I learned that skill from my buddy Don Logan, which I'm hoping we have some good news about soon. So, hopefully we know something. But anyway, my mentor for guns, my mentor for making knives is Don Logan, Barefoot Knives and Gun down in Bell, Florida. Probably the coolest dude you'll ever meet, with more stories than a short story book from Stephen King. He has had a remarkable life. Apache pilot, Cobra pilot before Apaches, sheriff's deputy, bounty hunter, not really bounty hunter, fugitive recovery guy for federal jobs, gun shop owner, rodeo rider. I mean, this guy has done it all and has the stories to tell you about it. He's worth just listening to for 10 minutes. You'll probably learn something you never thought of in your entire life. It's just weird, but he's greatest dude ever. So, but he also used to do this show with me when it was on radio, and somehow internet worked better back then than it does now at his place. Excuse me. But yeah. So I'm going to ask the 3 questions. I still haven't had really anybody answer my 3 questions. That isn't, either a gunsmith or part of the show at all times. But 3 questions that may or may not make a difference. But I want my listeners and watchers to listen or to answer these questions. All right. What is the primary difference between a 22 LR long rifle and a 22 short? Primary difference. It's pretty simple. Pretty simple. What is the first mass-produced cartridge-fired rifle, and who made it? Pretty simple. Pretty easy. Hint, hint. The company that made the rifle is still a firearms manufacturer today. Still making rifles today. You can go to a local gun store and buy one today. And they're not going to, unless you buy the higher caliber, higher grade ones, they're not going to empty your pocket. Okay. The last question. The last question, and this might mind boggle somebody. Most of you. But there's this little thing called Google. You can Google all these questions and they're going to tell you the answers. But at least it's going to make you Google something to learn the right answers. So, question number 3. Why is 3.5 inch 12 gauge turkey loads $70? I'm being serious. I would like to know the answer to that question. I have Googled it 300 times. And I still can't find the answer. But I have a Benelli Supernova that really wants to go out and shoot a turkey, but I can't find 3.5 inch turkey loads for less than $70 for 5 shots. So, somebody please answer that question. Answering the first 2, being the first ones to get it correctly, I will send you a sticker. That last question, like always, is a bonus question. Give me your opinions of why 3.5 inch 12 gauge turkey loads are $70 a box for 5. I have no idea. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. It's the most expensive ammo on the planet. Right now. It is more expensive than 50 caliber BMG ammo. Yeah. Because 20 of those is like $150. 5 turkey loads is $70. It's crazy. It's like there's a moratorium on turkeys right now. When Biden promised them on Thanksgiving, he pardoned all of them by making the ammo too expensive to hunt them. I know. That was a joke. I jest, okay? But really I don't. At the same time. So, I'm still hung up. I'm trying to wrap my brain around this. And like I said, I read it a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I will talk about it later when I wrap my head around it, and I can talk about it without getting emotional. But obviously, that did not work. I'm a little emotional. I'm a little heated. Who gave this man the job to regulate by executive order on how we live our lives, on how we conduct business, and how we protect ourselves, on our rights? If they're going to restrict, if they're going to infringe, if they're going to take away, they better be voting on it. So that way I can walk up and say, you're to blame for this. We're voting you out. It's stupid. I'm sorry. Like, really, I'm incredibly upset about this. We knew it was coming, and it really shouldn't surprise me. It really shouldn't make me upset, but I am. An AR receiver that doesn't have a trigger well cut into it is not an AR receiver. It's a paperweight. Once that's milled out, then it's a receiver. Milled out and the holes cut in or drilled in. Then it's a receiver. But if I'm not going to sell that gun, why should I put a serial number on it? Why should the government restrict me from making one for myself because I have the know-how? I have the ability. Why should I not be able to do this? Next, they're going to restricting your right to grow your own food in your backyard, saying gardens are illegal. It's the same principle. You can't go to the store and buy seeds because you're going to make your own food, and that's not controlled by the FDA. See? They already do it to milk. They already do it to certain things. You can't you can't grow that in your yard. Why not? It comes from seeds. This is where I see things going. But cheers to Georgia. We don't have to have a carry permit anymore. It's not like they could ask us for it before they made it legal to do it, unless you're committing a felony. But yeah, Georgia is constitutional carry now over the age of 21. I think it's 18 in military. But, yep. I apologize for getting a little heated about this discussion, but it's what I do. I try not to get political because guns aren't political. They're really not. There's no argument about guns that can be made that actually is a good argument against guns. There's not a single person on this planet that can convince me that firearms are bad for the general population. Any firearms. Like I said, short of nuclear weapons, if the government owns it, we should be able to own it. Now, if people carrying would only learn how to carry and shoot. No kidding. I have seen some really dumb things, and I'm going to start taking pictures. That way we can post them up here and we can talk about them. I have seen some dumb things. So everybody knows that little strap on an Uncle Mike's holster that's on the back that doesn't have the snaps on it, that goes on your belt. That strap that goes over the back of your pistol, over the back of your firearm, that buttons on one side, that's a retention device. It doesn't go through your belt loop so you can carry your pistol that way. Just words of advice. Because I saw that. And it scared me. A lot. If stupidity was illegal, we would have a lot of people in jail. And if common sense was common, we wouldn't have to talk about this stuff. So, where did we go wrong? That's all I'm going to ask. Where have we gone wrong? What can we do to fix the stupidity that is developing and enveloping the world? I don't even care about the world. Enveloping just our United States. That's the only part I want to fix. I don't care what the rest of the world does. I don't care at all. The Russians can be in Ukraine. Ukraine can be in Russia. They can all go into Poland. I don't care anymore. It's not my fight anymore. They come here, it'll be my fight. They stay over there, that's their fight. Because all I can say is this: if we ever got attacked in America, we wouldn't be refugees. For some reason, these people get attacked and they'll run to another country. Somebody comes and attacks us here, we stay and fight. This is our country. You ain't going to take it. Refugees probably shouldn't be allowed back in the country because they gave up on it. I'm just saying, it's mind-boggling. Completely. It's like, how do you go to a gun store or go to a restaurant and they say, oh, we don't have enough people to serve you? Part of being an American is working. You have the right to pursue happiness, liberty. That's it. You have the right to pursue it. In the pursuit of. You're not guaranteed life, liberty, and happiness. You're guaranteed the right to pursue it. Oh my goodness. I don't know where we've gone wrong. Chasing Wolf, where have we gone wrong? What can we do to fix this? Let's stay in our tiny little lane of Second Amendment. What can we do to fix this today? What do we have to do? I would say first and foremost, get upset about it, obviously. Get upset, but not so upset you do something stupid. Doing stupid things is where people get in trouble. So the ability to fix this is on our shoulders. We need to elect the right people, and we need to know who we are electing before we elect them, not figure it out afterwards. I mean, I got to meet Herschel Walker this weekend, and he's running for Congress here in Georgia. Do I think he's going to win? No. Do I want him to win? Yes. But I don't. I think Georgia has gone too far left for Herschel Walker to win. But please, for the love of God, I'd love that man to win. We know where he stands on all of these political issues. And in the past, he's done exactly what he said he was going to do. So I would say Herschel Walker here in Georgia. That's how we start to fix some of our stupidity. But know who you're voting for. Do it now. Research them now. November is only, 5-6 months away. Research it now. Figure it out. Talk to people. Figure out people's stance. We cannot let the administration erode our rights anymore. And it isn't just our gun rights they're going after. But we can't protect any of the other rights without our gun rights. And that is what they know. And their gun rights, our Second Amendment, is what they fear. They fear our gun rights, then they fear our right of freedom of speech. They fear it. So if they can get rid of the Second Amendment, they can start eroding the rest of them, because then we have no arms to stand on. So do your research. Look at who you're voting for. Look at what they stand for. If they don't stand for what you want them to, either write them a letter and get them to change their position and get to understand your position, or find somebody else that is going to do it for you. It is time to start firing the politicians that have lied to us on the stand. And you fire politicians by voting them out. All right. That is all I have for you guys today. I thank you very much for sticking by me and watching this tirade of, screaming about the ATF. Because I absolutely, not even the ATF, about the White House. Because I believe executive orders are just that. They're executive orders. They should not mean diddly squat to us as Americans. They really shouldn't. But we all know it's probably going to happen. All right. So, coming up tonight at 7:30 p.m. here on the East Coast, you have Chase the Wolf, Wolf Bits News with Chasing Wolf. And then you have a Pack of Riders with Chapa at 2100 or 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure you guys tune in and listen to these guys, watch these guys, participate. I'm going to be on some of them. You'll see me in the chat under Jason Hyatt or TSR TV or Backyard Prep University or Roundtable Ranch, whatever one Facebook allows me to log in on. I'll be there. I will be trying to drive at least some of the conversation in some direction, because that's what we do. All right. Love you guys. Keep them ready. Keep them loaded. and research your politicians. See y'all next week.